Friends, so with the analysis which we have to make in this respect, what the person who is making the analysis, what is his point is, prior to the amendment by the finance brought in the Finance Act 2012, the assessing officer could refer the case to the valuation officer only when what happens? Only when the value of the asset claimed by the SC in the report of the registered valuer was less than the fair market value. Now the reference can be made to the valuation officer even in situation where fair market value what the SSE has claimed is more than the actual fair market value. So now 55A power is given to the assessing officer to refer the matter if the value claimed by the SSE is either less or more. So therefore, for the purpose of section 45 1A 2 4 46 2 50D and exchange of the assets, if the SC has claimed the fair market value of the asset in the report of the registered valuer to be 100 lakhs, that is he has taken sale price of the asset to be 100 lakhs and the assessing officer is of the opinion that the value so claimed is less than its actual fair market value, then he can always make a reference to the valuation officer. There I already have discussed the point. Under what circumstances, if it is more by 25,000 or if it is more by 15% or the asset is such that it requires definite valuation again independently, then the assessing officer can refer. Now present amended law is even if it is what is it lesser than the fair market value, the reference can be made. Please make note of the amendment. Section 55A, under section 55A, where assessing officer feels that the value of the asset as per the SSE is more than the fair market value, he may refer to the valuation officer. Friends, my own observation says, whenever there is an amendment in section 55A, this is a definite question in the exam. You go to your scanner, you go to your previous examinations, how many times reference to the valuation officer is given? At least according to my observation, 3 to 5 times it appeared. So since the amendment is there, take it for granted it is there in your paper, right? Next is tax on long-term capital gain. What is long-term capital gain? Section 112. Long-term capital gain and what is the rate of tax? 20%. With respect to the shares and securities, only there is an option. What is that option? If shares and securities are there and securities transaction tax is not paid because the transaction is being carried out privately, not through recognized stock exchange, then long-term capital gains arising by sale of shares and securities other than by modes of transferring through the recognized stock exchange now will still be continued to get it subjected to the tax. Then how to compute the capital gains tax? With respect to that, what is stated? You are given two options. You claim the benefit of indexation and calculate the capital gains, and the rate applicable for such is 20%. Don't take the benefit of indexation and calculate the long-term capital gain, then the rate at which the capital gain is subjected to tax is a 10%. I am not teaching something amendment. The present situation only, prior to the amendment, also the situation is what? Long-term capital gain arising from sale of shares and securities which are not subjected to the securities transaction tax. An option is given to the SSE either to claim the benefit of indexation and pay the tax at the rate of 20%, or don't claim the benefit of indexation and pay the tax at the rate of 10%. This optional facility is only available for the shares and securities, not for all long-term capital gains. Now, what is stated here? Section 112 has been amended from assessment year 2013 and 14 to provide that in case of a non-resident, definitely for final it is important, in case of a non-resident or a foreign company, capital gains tax payable on transfer of long-term capital asset being shares and securities which are not listed on stock exchange. Why? If they are listed on stock exchange, क्या होता? यदि वो ट्रांसफर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के साथ हुए तो सिक्योरिटीज ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्स भरने से दैट गेन गेट्स एक्सेम्प्टेड बोल के, तो हियर शैल बी 10%. Now, for this purpose, the long-term capital gain is to be computed without indexation or without taking advantage of foreign currency rate difference. I think if you have already prepared for the capital gains topic, in section 48, you will find that in case if a non-resident acquires any shares in foreign currency, there is a specific mode of calculation of the capital gains. That is, you have to convert the sale consideration in Indian currency into foreign currency. You have to convert the cost of acquisition into foreign currency, and you have to calculate the capital gains in foreign currency and reconvert the same into Indian currency to find out what is the capital gain. But when we say section 112 is applicable in respect of the shares transferred by a non-resident and which shares are not listed in the recognized stock exchange, without claiming the benefit of indexation, without going to the procedure of conversion of sale consideration and cost of acquisition into foreign currency and reconverting it to Indian currency, if you adhere by that, then such a long-term capital gain will be subjected to the tax at the rate of 10%. What the amendment is made is with respect to which SSEs, non-residents and the foreign companies. Please make note. Section 112. Section 112 has been amended from, section 112 has been amended from assessment year 2013 and 14, assessment year 2013 and 14, to provide that in case of a non-resident, or a foreign company, capital gains tax payable on transfer of a long-term capital asset, being the shares or securities which are not listed on the stock exchange, shall be 10%. For this purpose, long-term capital gain is to be computed. Without indexation, or without making advantage of, without taking advantage of without taking advantage of foreign currency rate differences, as provided in section 48, as provided in section 48. Now I am going to do with the last aspect in the long term in the capital gains topic, and definitely this is very relevant for the people who are preparing for the final examination. Try to get into what it is. Yesterday when I explained you about the rates of tax, I said we are doing with the securities transaction tax. Actually you don't get any questions there, but since a connecting amendment is there, try to understand what it is. Section 98 not of Income Tax Act, Finance Act 2004 provides for the rates of securities transaction tax has been amended with effect from 1/7/2012. Already you have made note of it. The revised rate of securities transaction tax in cash delivery segment are reduced from 0.125 to 0.1%. Therefore, in case of a delivery based transaction relating to the equity shares of a company or units of the equity oriented fund or mutual fund entered into through recognized stock exchange, STT shall be payable by the purchaser, which is earlier 0.125 is now brought to 0.1. Even the seller also is to pay the securities transaction tax, that also got reduced from 0.125 to the 0.1%. This is a known story, already written story. Now what is it? In order to encourage the unlisted companies to get them listed in the recognized stock exchange, it is now provided that sale of unlisted equity shares by any holder of such shares under an offer for sale to the public included in an initial public offer, if subsequently such shares are listed on a recognized stock exchange, will be liable for payment of securities transaction tax at what rate? At the rate of 0.2%. Normal course it is 0.1, now it is 0.2%. If such STT is paid, long-term capital gain on such a sale will be exempted from tax, and a tax on short-term capital gain will be payable at a concessional rate of 15% under section 111A. If consequential transfer will result in long-term capital gain, then it is what is it? It gets exempted because you are paying securities transaction tax, and if it is a short-term capital gain, you will be paying 15%. But how to understand this without an illustration? If I am a student, I feel it. If I am a student, I feel it. It is all Greek and Latin. From here to here, it is a Greek and Latin. In order to encourage the unlisted companies to get them listed in a recognized stock exchange. Kya hona? Unlisted companies, if they are getting converted into a listed company, it is now provided that sale of unlisted equity shares by any holder of such shares under an offer for sale to the public included in the initial public offer. What it is? That is what you are going to understand by going through an example. Securities transaction tax shall be levied on the sale of unlisted equity shares by any holder of such shares under an offer for sale to the public included in the initial public offer, and where such shares are subsequently listed on a recognized stock exchange. This is what I said is Greek and Latin for me. Now how to make it converted into our regional language, mother tongue. Look at the example. This is balance sheet of Tulip Limited. Liabilities 50 crores equity shares of 10 each, 500 crores, and reserves and surplus is 2000 crores. Net assets are 2500 crores. Now this is a unlisted company. Suppose Tulip Limited is a unlimited company. Now it wanted to get into a listed company, public limited company. So it want to offer to the public 30 crores of shares at a issue price of how much? 50. How this 30 crores they want to issue? 20 crores is a fresh issue. दूसरा 10 crores क्या है? They said total 30 crores they want to make it public. 20 crores is a fresh issue. 10 crores is what? Presently the promoters are holding how much? Promoters means the one who started this particular company, Tulip Limited, they are holding 50 crores. They wanted to make a fresh issue of 20 crores and 10 crores of their holding they wanted to offload to the general public. So as a part of the IPO, that is public offer, what they are doing, that is total 30 crores they want to issue at, what is it, 50 rupees per share, that is 10 rupees is the face value, 40 rupees is the premium. So how the 30 crores constitutes? Fresh issue 20 crores and promoters will offer 10 crores. Promoters shares where they are, the existing 50 crores are held by the promoters of that particular company. So promoters will offer 10 crores of the shares to the public at 50 rupees each. In other words, the public offer, promoters will offer their 10 crore shares to the public at a price of 50 each, and these 10 crore shares will form the part of the public issue. So total public issue is 30 crores, 20 crores is a fresh issue, 10 crores is offloading of the, what is it, promoters shares to the general public. Now after the public issue, all the 70 crore shares, all the 70 crores means existing 50 crores and the fresh issue of 20 crores will be listed in the recognized stock exchange. Now as per the Finance Act of 2012, securities transaction tax shall be payable by the promoters. Now promoters, their existing shares they are making transfer to the public and it is done as a part of the IPO. Then now the point here is, once they are going to make a transfer of their share to the public and this company is going to become listed company, then what will happen? This particular transaction will not be subjected to that securities transaction tax at 0.1%, but will be subjected to the securities transaction tax at what rate? 0.2. So the consequences are what? That is a sale of unlisted equity shares of how much? 10 crore shares by the holder of such share. By the holder of such shares. Who are the holders of that shares? Promoters. Under an offer for sale to the public included in the initial public offer, IPO, and such a shares are subsequently listed where? In the recognized stock exchange. Now as per the Finance Act of 2012, the seller, that is the promoter, shall pay securities transaction tax at what rate? 0.2% on sale price. So sale price is what? 10 crores is being sold at 50 rupees each. So 500 crores के ऊपर 0.2%. Now as per the Finance Act 2012, the lead merchant banker appointed by the company shall collect the STT from the seller, that is promoter, and deposit the same to the government. So what are the points to be noted here? As per section 10 clause 38, in case if the promoters are holding these shares which they have offered to the public are long term, then 10 clause 38 comes into play, and as per 10 clause 38, if the shares and securities are long term capital asset and securities transaction tax is paid, then such capital gains gets exempted under 10 clause 38. And in case if these shares are short term capital assets, that is their period of holding is less than 12 months, then if securities transaction tax is paid, then such short term capital gain will be subjected to the tax at a concessional rate of what is it, 15%. That is how sometimes what will happen when you read certain provisions of the law, they appear to be Greek and Latin, but please remember this, that you are a child born in India where three very good authors and teachers are there. Who are the three good authors and teachers? Any provision if you don't understand in tax law, go to Vinod K. Singhania. Every provision is being explained with a particular example. Or otherwise, go to your Ahuja book, Bharat Publications. Now to that list, Vinod Gupta's modules. See, learn and zeal to learn must be there. If you have a zeal to learn, there are n number of good books which are available on this particular subject. And much more important is your institute material is also self-explanatory. So try to see that you make a purposeful reading rather than reading only for the examination purpose, because this is the subject with which you have to live. Maybe it is only a change of the name, that is presently income tax, in future direct tax code, but provisions and law, legal terminology will always be like this. And you must show enthusiasm to understand each of the section, what is the purposive intent, why it is being brought, and what are the effects of this particular provision on the other provisions. More particularly when you come to the final, you cannot read any section in isolation, you have to read each section in combination with wherever the effects are there, right? Thank you.